I'm not going to talk for long because I do want to hear from you. So it's about a 5-minute long speech. So if you want to get comfortable and get some popcorn, you can do that as well. But I just want to give you an overview of who I am and what I hope to do and why I decided to run. So I arrived in the Valley about 7 years ago. My first job was as a census worker for the 2010 census. And I know the census only happens about 10 times every year. But I highly recommend it as a way to get familiar with the place if you happen to move to a place there. Because I figured out every single street, every single nook and cranny very quickly, because otherwise I was going to get lost. The knocking on doors to get personal information from people to give to the government is not always the most popular job. And the government gave us a lot of different regulations on what to do if you felt like you were in a scary situation. But within Harrisonburg, I never had to encounter that, and I felt warmly accepted, even though I was new to town and didn't really know anything at all. I really enjoyed the community and how quickly they kind of seemed to come up and connect and wanted to connect with me. The good part is I was lucky enough to stay in Harrisonburg. I was hired as a teacher at Blue Ridge Community College and also at James Madison University. I teach writing and rhetoric, so it's a popular subject that lots of places want. But it's also rewarding for me to help students think critically about the world and see that. In 2010 through 2012, I also worked at the EJC Arboretum as the education coordinator. That's because I have a strong science background. I originally had my major in biology before I switched to English for my master's and doctoral, so jack of all trades there. But I cobbled together these kind of part-time jobs, and certainly that's kind of what the economy seemed to promote at the time. So I was lucky to meet a variety of people. I was interested in education, the environment, appreciation for immigrants and refugees, and within the Harrisonburg community I really saw that other people were also interested in those particular ideas. But my communities didn't stagnate. They kept growing, they kept diversifying. And I became a mom in 2012, and that meant that my communities widened even further. And as a mom, before I was a mom, I had always supported progressive issues and a variety of issues, but having the personal experience of being a mom really helped to kind of put some of those ideas of how I could have a deeper appreciation, deeper understanding, and help bring back change. But meeting other moms has been one of the greatest joys in my life. These women have discovered new worlds, and family life has really become one of my largest communities within Harrisonburg. I began to kind of confidently talk about family leave plans, as well as how to manage the bills of daycare, or what it meant if you had a financial worry to be a stay-at-home mom. There are a lot of issues that deal with that kind of families have to deal with, as I'm sure all of you guys know. One of my biggest challenges, though, was that I had postpartum depression. My son Latham and my daughter Gwendolyn, who'll be here in just a little bit, are about the most magical little people that you could ever meet. They're 5 and 2. But postpartum depression can really rob you of getting to experience that joy. And it's important for me to get depression diagnosed and treated. I eventually conquered my postpartum depression thanks to therapy and medication. And I'm not kind of embarrassed to talk about my experience or the issue of mental health. I think it's been swept underneath the rug too long, and I want to go to Richmond and bring policies into play to help protect and help people who deal with all types of mental illness. Beyond that one issue, though, I want to make District 26 a stronger place. Job creation and strengthening the economy must be addressed. I have been underemployed or unemployed at different times, and we need to start making sure that's not a choice that people want to make willingly. The Fight for 15 is one way to help, but there's also a lot of different ways about how to strengthen the access that farmers can have to grants and other methods to allow that economy to flourish. Education's a passion for me. I want to help our public schools and find ways to provide critical resources and necessary salary increases, and also a safe structure in case of larger concerns that may happen. We can protect the environment by stopping pipelines and fracking. We need to make make these changes, it needs to start now. And our delegate in Richmond has refused to pass a lot of legislation, but one of the most interesting ones is the one to end gerrymandering. He voted against the choice to end gerrymandering, and I believe that having fair elections is a bipartisan issue. It needs to become something that we talk about, and it needs to be something, especially with the census happening in 2020, that means that redistricting will happen in 2021. We need to be ready. We need to have people in Richmond who are ready to make sure that fair elections happen. So I need your help. Please like my Facebook page, go to my website. There's all this kind of information around there too. Connect with me, sign up on volunteer lists. There's a lot there. There's obviously a lot that can be done. Feel free to donate to me as well through my website here today. But when I moved here in 2010, when I was taking down names and addresses for the census, I didn't know if I would be here. But my husband had a job here, and there weren't other ties. Who knows where we would have gone. Now, though, I've grown into the community. My children have both been born here. They know no other home other than Harrisonburg and Rockingham County. And I'm pleased with that. I want to protect this home for them and for the people on the 26th. And I hope you'll consider my candidacy and my determination as we go about to try to get me elected the next delegate representative for District 26. Thank you so much.